and welcome to the Chronic Health Collective. This isn't just a community, it's your fresh start. We've gathered the best coaches and experts to help you reclaim your energy, heal from the inside out, and live with purpose. Whether you're longing for more energy, deeper healing in your relationships, or a life that feels more aligned and fulfilled, you're not alone anymore. Hi, I'm Amanda Beth, an intuitive healer, and I just want to let you know tonight we're gonna talk about those boundaries and being an empath because you're not too sensitive. You're under protected. Let me say something that might completely change how you see yourself. You are not too sensitive. You've just never been taught how to protect your energy. And because of that, you've been overgiving, overholding, and overextending when it's really what you learn to do to feel safe and to feel love and to feel needed. So I'm Amanda Beth, intuitive healer and wellness coach here with the Chronic Health Collective. And tonight I'm going to show you why boundaries feel so hard as an empath and how to create them in a way that actually feels natural, feels clean, and feels empowered. Let's pop up a graphic here. There we go. Boundaries. Boundaries are guidelines for ourselves and for others that keep us mentally, emotionally, and spiritually healthy. So let's take a look at what happens and what these boundaries all involve, what it means, and why it's so important to have these boundaries. So first, I'm going to talk about a few different definitions and things that sometimes get just a little garbled. And so first, let's talk about sympathy. Sympathy is the ability to feel sorry, to have pity for another person. And oftentimes sympathy is perceived as really looking down on a person, like not acknowledging them in a way that's helpful for them or for anyone else. And when I was in college doing my work anyway, in one of my rehabilitation classes, it was said that the word sympathy was in the dictionary between shit and syphilis, and that's where it needed to stay. And that kind of has helped me keep that in mind. I don't want to feel sorry for people. I don't want to give them pity. Which then brings us to our next definition. And our next definition is that of empathy. So to have empathy for another person is to be able to understand where they're coming from, to understand how it would feel to have something happen, to embrace something, that they could feel sad and to understand what that is. So having empathy means to understand where they're coming from and how things could be the way they are for them, for that person. And then we're going to take it to tonight's topic, which is being an empath. So being an empath oftentimes means that not only do we understand why they could be feeling this way or understand what those feelings feel like, but we actually feel them. We take them on. We're like a sponge. You're around someone who has all of these emotions overflowing, and instead of just understanding them, you actually feel them. Their feelings are like they're contagious. And when you're in a relationship or in close proximity to people, sometimes those feelings, it's really hard to understand which of those feelings are mine and which of those feelings are yours. Where is that boundary? What needs to happen in order to keep myself from actually feeling yours. And that's the challenge that empaths really have. They are absorbing emotions from others. It brings on a bunch of confusing feelings. It really impacts relationships, especially if there is a disconnect in those relationships. The feelings are really wild and crazy, and then discerning which of those feelings are mine and which of those feelings are yours gets really, really complicated for an untrained empath. Untrained empaths tend to just really overextend their energy field, and we're constantly monitoring everyone else's behavior. And goes back to being taught that we needed to monitor what was going on around us so we understood how those people felt, and then we could better take care of them. And that's one of those things that really leaves us emotionally and physically drained and just absolutely exhausted when we are monitoring everything that goes around us. And it leads us to that emotional overwhelm when you maybe haven't experienced anything else, but you're really just, you're exhausted and nothing's really happened in your day or your to you specifically, but you're still feeling the overwhelm. This is where I'm going to say you need to look at it as the perspective that possibly you are an untrained empath. So this isn't for who you are, it's how your energy has been operating. So being able to step back and to really anchor in what's yours and what's theirs is so incredibly important, and looking at why this happens. So as we progress through tonight's episode, I want you to be able to understand what a boundary is and where those boundaries really need to come in for your own clarity and for your own sanity, and being able to understand that boundaries are not really a bad thing, but it's pulling back your personal power so that you're not so easily influenced by everyone else's emotions and feelings. So sometimes this happens like I think one of my biggest aha moments was that, my daughters, when they were graduating, I was doing fine. This is a normal progression of life. They've checked all the boxes. They're going on. They're going to be doing their great things and wonderful. And I show up at the stadium and getting ready, just sitting in the audience. And then all of a sudden, this overwhelm of excitement and fear for the unknown for these young people who are all graduating. And all of a sudden, I feel tearful. These weren't my tears. These were the tears of everyone else in the stadium. And this happens a lot of times in churches. I remember watching my sister-in-law posting and saying, oh my gosh, now I understand why my mom always cried in church. Some of that, it's not about our own feelings. It's not how you feel. It's how everyone around you is feeling and how you soak that in. So learning what it is that is yours, what is the feeling that's yours, and being able to have that boundary or that barrier so that you're not constantly bringing in everyone else's information into your immediate circle where you're feeling it. And we talked earlier that this is really difficult in relationships, because in a relationship you want to have this partnership and you want to be a part of everything. And sometimes our boundaries are lax because we really want to take care of that person. We fall into that caretaking. In order to caretake, we tend to let our boundaries down and we feel for the other person and we take on that exhaustion. And those are the things. It's not that we don't care about them. We very dearly care about them. But this is creating the ability to be objective to what their feelings are versus what our feelings are, so that we aren't overextending our energy field to absorb their energy. Because when we absorb that energy, do you feel yourself, you've processed it? It's become a part of who you are. There's different places that you can go when you're getting ready to walk into a building, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna stop in here, and I'm gonna grab a sandwich or whatever, and you sit down in the restaurant, and maybe there's a heated discussion going on in the next room, and all of a sudden you feel like, oh no, I'm really anxious, and you were having a good day before then. That's you being an empath and absorbing someone else's information. I remember another time being at a training, and the keynote speaker who was speaking during lunch, and they were very excited about their topic, and they were just giving all this energy, and they were just pounding through this presentation, which was good information. It was very, very good information. But as I'm eating my lunch and I realize the energy of this presenter is so fast-paced and just really pounding through every word that he had to say, and I caught myself just speeding up the rate that I was eating. Now, this sounds like a bizarre example, but that is absorbing the energy of his speaking. It went beyond being motivated by what he was saying, but feeling and embodying and then acting on that energy of the speaker. That's another example of how being an empath and where you get into that emotional overwhelm. And this is a keynote speaker. Everyone thought he was doing a great job, and he was. But I caught myself in the moment of like, oh, I've eaten my whole lunch and everyone else has just started. Those type of things. And so when you look around and you see those things, that's when you want to check. It's like, okay, what is this? These are the characteristics of being an empath, of being so acutely aware of everyone else around you that oftentimes you don't have room for your own feelings, for how you're processing things. These are the challenges that come up for empaths. And so we'll keep looking at these and adding to your repertoire of what is it that you are engaging in. So think about that. Think about some times when you have really gotten overwhelmed. Where is your high level of sensitivity that leaves you depleted? So as we go on into commercial break here, I want you to think about some of those examples. Where have you been? What is the environment? Where is a place that you always go and you're having a good day until you get there? And once you get there, things start to unravel. So be thinking of some of those examples as we go into our next commercial break. And we'll be back. She looks like she has it all together, but inside, she's exhausted, disconnected, and asking, is this really it? I'm Amanda Beth. I help visionary women shift from burnout to embodiment, from survival mode to soulful success. Through intuitive healing and aligned strategy, I guide them back to their power so they can lead with clarity, confidence, and calm.
I was floored at how effective and powerful and insightful everything was in this journey. She is amazing, and you should absolutely do it.
This isn't about pushing harder. This is about rising with purpose, prosperity, and peace.
Everything we're made of contains light. From the sun that feeds our world to the energy that flows within us. With LifeWave X39, we've found a way to put that light to work. With X39, We achieved something remarkable in the field of wellness and science that others could not. By utilizing LifeWave's unique patented technology, X39 uses light to elevate GHK-Cu, a copper peptide known to support overall health and wellness. Unlike traditional light therapy, X39 uses the body's own infrared light to naturally increase vitality. By gently stimulating the skin with light, our non-invasive, non-transdermal X39 patches help you conquer your active lifestyle and pave a new way to vibrant health. Becoming a powerhouse is easier than you think. It all starts with your body and a little help from light. Place one LifeWave X39 patch on the body. Apply the patch to clean, dry skin in the morning. Patches may be worn for up to 12 hours before discarding. Keep well hydrated while using this product. Harness your natural potential. Reclaim youthful energy. Live long, live well, live young with LifeWave X39. Be the light. LifeWave.
Is your skin aging, dry, tired, and dull? Are you putting on more and more makeup to cover the fine lines and flaws? Now you don't have to. Coolness Skincare, developed by a middle-aged woman just like you. 2 years in formulating. Pearlescent face and eye serum cream with Schisandra berries and dragon's blood extract for your face, eye, and neck. And the vegan version, Deep Love Face Cream, featuring powerful blue tansy. This face cream is everything you are looking for. Feel your beauty. Visit coolness.com or scan the QR code for more information.
Let's talk more specifically about how we create those boundaries. What are they made of? What starts it all? Where does it come in? So, and we talk about, sometimes people say, oh, when you are feeling anger, that's an indication that your boundary was violated. So let's talk about what boundaries are. Boundaries are not, they're not being mean or being angry, but they are talking about what your limits are. What are you able to handle? What's comfortable? And so in those other situations, when you go into somewhere, say you're going in and you're ordering food and there's something heavy going on, one of the things that you can do to protect your boundary so that you're not absorbing all of this negativity is get your order to go and take it to a place that you can really be in control of that. So finding out what your personal boundaries are. What do you feel comfortable with? Where are you willing to set a limit? And I know for me, as I went through my healing transformation, one of the biggest things I had to do was to set boundaries. And when you're setting those boundaries, you are, in essence, creating the rule book that you live by. And when you have the boundaries in place, this also teaches others as how they need to treat you. But first, you have to really treat yourself that way in order to show others how to treat you. You're training them. So this is about your personal boundaries. And where does that come in? What are the things in your life as you're writing the script for your day? What are the things that you allow in? What are the things that you don't allow in? And becoming aware of where your personal boundary set really comes in. And these personal boundaries, and we're going to talk about understanding this based on the 7 chakra theory. The 7 chakras being those 7 power generators within your body. And today, and you don't need to understand a whole lot of them to understand this concept. One of those 7 powerhouses is your solar plexus. And the solar plexus is located Oh, just kind of above your belly button, between the bottom of your rib cage and your belly button. This is your solar plexus. It's important to have a physical representation of where this is at so that you can do some of these exercises. This is your big central powerhouse. This is where you're going to fill in that container so that you have the ability to hold your boundaries, your energetic boundaries, not just the verbal boundaries of what I will and won't do or what is okay and not okay, but this is the energy to really back behind that. This is, by definition, that healthy chakra that really allows you to define where you are. And if you envision that as being a container, and you're going to fill this container, it's yellow in the references of chakras. So it's easy to visualize sunshiny yellow energy coming in and just really going into that tummy area and filling your tummy with this warm sunshine-like energy. This energy backs our solar plexus. And in our solar plexus is where our personal power lives in your system. So the more energy you can put into it, the more personal power that you're going to be able to reclaim. Reclaim that confidence, your ability to stand firm in your boundaries and know exactly what it is that you're willing to take on, what is your responsibility, kind of doing that list, that pros and cons list. So it's going to be pros and cons, but it's going to be my stuff and someone else's stuff that you're really looking at to work on in those things. And that helps to create your self-definition. Who am I? What is important to me? And what are the things that I'm going to give time, attention, and energy to? Because those other things, if they are not directly involved in you, you need to be able to weed them out. The concept of where do I begin, where do I end, and someone else's energy begins. Where is that? As an empath, part of this overwhelm comes because we throw out our energy into, we're casting a net. So we have a big fish net and we're able to cast that out. And when we spread our energy that thin to listen to and to feel and to absorb from so many other people, you can see how we easily snag all kinds of stuff that isn't ours, doesn't belong to us. But now, because we've snagged it in our thin, energetic net, we have to deal with it. And that's how we're overextended. And being overextended with our energy means we're feeling overwhelmed. And so being able to pull that energy in, and we're talking literally pulling that energy back in that comes back to us to create that clarity in what's us, what's them, and create the power where you're retaining that core for yourself. So in the United States, generally, it's considered to be about an 18-inch boundary is where most people are comfortable. That personal bubble that you have, it's usually about 18 inches. In other countries, it's closer to like 12 inches. So finding out where you're comfortable. When a stranger approaches you, what is your comfort level with how close someone approaches you? That's a boundary. There's some of those, we'll pick on car salesmen that walk right up into your bubble and they start talking to you. And it's like, oh, this isn't comfortable. This is the same thing that we are going to start differentiating and start feeling as an empath with all the feelings as well. Not just someone coming into your physical space, but creating this as an energetic boundary as it goes across the board for so many other things. So think about that. How comfortable are you with people coming into your space? Where is your bubble? Do you have a 12-inch bubble? Do you have an 18-inch bubble? Is your bubble the size of the room? you know? So think about that. In those concepts, where is your personal space? And now let's have your energetic container pull into about 18 inches. Okay? So you're going to do this, you're literally going to imagine that your energy is diffuse and spilling over everywhere. There's this yellow, we'll call it scrambled eggs, or maybe it's like a carpet and it's flowing out of you. And as it flows out of you, it's all over the floor. It's not contained in a nice container. And so being able to pull this in. So as you learn to pull this in, and sometimes it's the visualization of putting your arms out and actually feeling like you're pulling your energy back in. It can be, think of it as a tablecloth. And as you pull on that tablecloth and it comes in closer and closer and closer. And as you start bringing your energy in, it's not out collecting everybody else's energy. That is the secret to being able to define what is yours and what is theirs. You first have to have your energy really centralized. And as you focus this energy into a nice, smooth container that you can pull on a regular basis, and we will go forward and we'll talk about how to use this energy once you contain it. But the big thing is learning to pull this in. And this is something that if you've not been pulling in your energy and claiming your space, this is going to feel really uncomfortable. At first, it feels like someone shut off the faucet as you begin to really centralize your energy so that you can tap on it. You can tap into that energy. It will become on call for you. So as you have increased focus, your energy is not thrown everywhere. So now you're going to be able to pick and choose what you use your energy for. You're really going to have that clarity. You're going to have clear boundaries. And as you pull them in, and I'm going to suggest pull in all your boundaries, pull in all of your energy, bring it in as you're going through this process of learning what is acceptable and what's not acceptable in your bubble. Those are the things to take into account. Sometimes this pulling in process and pulling away from process feels really, it can feel unsettling. You feel like you've lost a part of what you fed on. You talk about adrenaline junkies. So it would be like an adrenaline junkie who stopped skydiving. And until you really rebuild your container, I'm going to suggest that you sit with that uncomfortableness to know what your own energy feels like. And this is uncomfortable because, it's like the waitress who's been taking care of people all day and comes home and is not going to serve food to her people because she's been doing it all day. This is that pulling all your energy in. And now you have all this energy, and to be able to take that energy and use it for yourself feels uncomfortable because you're not busy giving it away to everyone else. It feels uneasy. It feels, it feels like a loss. You don't have all this chaos feeding it. You don't have everyone else's input. And so learning to know what your feelings really, truly feel like. And this is huge because this is where you really, truly begin to make this about your feelings and your energy and learning how to read yourself and feel for yourself. So let's go to another commercial break, and then we're going to come back and talk about how to really integrate all of this so that you have the ability to distinguish what feelings are yours and what feelings are other people's. How much of the overwhelm is yours and how much of it needs to be left for other people to handle their own baggage so that you can go through with clarity and feel really, really empowered. I'll check back with you after this break. She looks like she has it all together, but inside, she's exhausted, disconnected, and asking, is this really it? I'm Amanda Beth. I help visionary women shift from burnout to embodiment, from survival mode to soulful success. Through intuitive healing and aligned strategy, I guide them back to their power so they can lead with clarity, confidence, and calm.
I was floored at how effective and powerful and insightful everything was in this journey. She is amazing, and you should absolutely do it.
This isn't about pushing harder. This is about rising with purpose, prosperity, and peace.
Why do 98% of beauty enthusiasts rave about coolness? It's all in the blend of ancient wisdom and modern science. Introducing Coolness, Pearlescent Face and Eye Serum Cream. This powerhouse combines the antioxidative power of schisandra berries, the glow of pearl powder, and the hydrating wonders of dragon's blood extract. It's like a time machine for your skin, making it radiant, firm, and oh so smooth. Inspired by ancient Chinese traditions and backed by modern nutritional science, this serum cream is perfect for dry, mature, and aging skin. It's time to unlock your inner glow with Coolness. Treat your skin to the best of both worlds today.
And we are back with the Chronic Health Collective. We come to you every Tuesday night, 7 o'clock p.m. to share a wealth of information from myself and so many other amazing coaches here with the Chronic Health Collective. So tonight we're talking about boundaries for empaths and how you really bring all of this together. So let's make it real. So in the last couple segments, we talked about what it is to be an empath and what that really means, where we've just kind of been groomed to take on everybody else's stuff. It's not ours, and we're good. We're good with that, but we're going to learn. We've talked about how to really bring it back in, how to filter out other people's emotions so that we can learn what we are feeling, what's really truly us, who we are on the inside. And this takes a lot of deep reflection. And it takes a lot of practice to kind of be a recovering empath, if you will. So first of all, we talked about visualizing our energetic field. So energy is around us, it's everywhere. And as an empath, we need to learn how to control that energy. What energy comes into us, what energy goes out of us, what are the boundaries, what makes it feel good and what makes it not feel good. And so that's where I want to talk about here is, really learning how to bring in your energy. so that you are not feeling all the feels of the world. Yes, it does happen, but it's going to happen less frequently, and you are going to have control and feel really empowered over what happens in your energetic field. So, first of all, we need to pull in that energy field. We need to acknowledge it. So, did you come up with some examples of areas that you go to or you're surrounded by certain people that maybe just make you feel tired? There are sometimes it's a phone call, it's like, oh, I'm going to be so drained. There are places you go. So I want you to think of one of those situations. A person who you feel drained by, an environment you feel it drained by. Even if it's social media content and how drained you feel by that. It's energy. Hopefully this podcast is encouraging you to take some responsibility and learn those boundaries of where you're at. So while you're thinking of a particular situation or environment, I want you to close your eyes and I want you to see where your energy is. And I know this is something I work with folks a lot, and it's not seeing it. It's you may or may not see it as a fishnet, as a carpet, as scrambled eggs, as spilled honey. You may just know. It may be a feeling that you just feel it. It may be something that you assign. I have a mentor, and when she visualizes things, she sees them all as cartoons. There is nothing wrong. I just want you to get a sense of where your energy is flowing, if you're containing it or not. So close your eyes and get a sense of where your energy is. How far out does it extend? In your mind's eye, can you reach the edges of your energetic field? Many empaths can't do this in the beginning. Their energy just spills to the ends of the earth. Maybe if you're an auditory processor, you can send out a sonar sound and wait for it to come back to you. Okay, so if you've got your energy and you are able to have a sense of where it goes, now I want you to imagine stretching out your hands to the edges of that energetic field. If your hands don't reach that far, just gradually start pulling this back, all in your mind's eye or actually stretching your hands out. As you begin to pull this energy in, keep pulling that in until it's at least within your arm's reach. This creates a denser, more defined boundary of your power and your focus that you are able to work from. How's that feeling? Does it feel pretty cool? Do you feel stronger, safer, maybe even more secure. And so now, from feeling all of your energy pulled into your core, remember, we're going to focus this on our solar plexus, that spot above your belly button and below your ribs. Okay, pulling this in, giving it a nice, warm, sunshiny yellow feel. Do you feel that power and that focus? Do you feel more energized? Cool. Cool. This is that feeling of being in control of your energy and transferring that control of energy into the control of the feelings and the emotions that go with this. Okay? So, this is how we overcome that emotional overwhelm. When your energy is so diffuse, that external stuff comes filtering in. So while we're here and we've got this container contained, I want you to think about that episode the last time when you felt so overwhelmed. Do you feel where you can have more control in your situation now when your energy is gathered? Yeah, so it's really important to bring this in. You are going to be able to center yourself here, to bring this energy in. And by concentrating this energy closer to your body, as an empath, you can naturally protect yourself without some of the other things of constantly shielding and doing some other practices that empaths oftentimes engage in. This one's really effective, and you're able to do it um, before you're in that situation when you feel so overwhelmed. And so this one, I really, really suggest that you practice doing this every day. Visualize doing this several times a day. So anytime that you've got a spare minute, or if you're starting to feel that overwhelm of, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, and the dread comes in and your boundaries are going out. So thinking of where you want to keep your boundaries and who your boundaries need to center around. They need to center around you, keeping you healthy, keeping your boundaries and your energy balanced so that you can take care of yourself first and then you can take care of others. It's the whole oxygen mask coming down. You have to first take care of your energy and your energetic container, because only from this solid container can you make really good decisions for yourself and then help others with their decisions or their situations. And so every time that you feel your energetic field is you're just kind of feeling drained, feeling, oh, I want you to think about, where are you? Where is your container? And pull that in to really strengthen that core energetic um, container. And I'm serious about doing this several times a day. Just doing this small practice in the beginning, it can be difficult. And if you're struggling with how you visualize those things, feel free to reach out and we'll work through that as far as how to better visualize things so that you can understand it and you can really get that physical sense and feeling of what it feels when your energy is contained. So you'll know what you're aiming for to keep yourself regulated and grounded. And then once you've done it several times a day for a few weeks, this is just going to be natural. You just go, oh, yep, I need to do it. It's easy to do, but yet we all need that reminder. So any of those empath things that you feel overwhelmed and everything, we all need those reminders. Pull in the energy, pull in the energy, so that you can discern what's yours and what's not. And it's harder in those close personal relationships when everybody's angry in a situation. And as you relate to other individuals, this is when it's so important to pull in your energy so you know which feels are yours and which ones are not. So as you get this container brought in, then the next thing to do is to learn how to use that empath abilities to really be able to test the situation. So we talk about using a tendril of energy. Okay, so once you've got your container in, and we're not just spilling it out, we're not throwing out that big fish net, but we need to know what's going on and not feel so shut off from the world, but we don't have to dive into the deep end to know the pool is hot or cold. We can touch it with our toes. And so this is kind of what this tendril of energy is. It's to be able to connect with the emotions of others without extending our entire energy field to do this. So from your container, from your energetic container that is so filled and is so strong, and now I want you to visualize sending out a small tendril or a thread of energy, so that you can kind of taste the energy in another person's field. Okay, sometimes they talk about like a snake tongue, just check the energy. You do not need to give all of your energy to a person, a situation, or a place to know what it feels like. Okay? That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? You've worked so hard to pull your container together. So you've got the knowledge, you know what it feels like. You can have empathy without draining your empathic container. So just taste that other energy. It allows you to sense their emotions without fully immersing your energy into theirs. It really helps you to, just dipping your toes into the energy to feel what it is, if it's something that you want to engage in. And once you've tested the waters, then you know if this is something you want to engage in. Does this fit with your boundaries? Does this fit with your limits? And sometimes it's really hard, especially in the beginning when we have new boundaries. Everyone's going to come up and they're going to want to test your new boundaries. Where have you decided that you're willing to spend your energy and how much energy? There are different groups of people that I interact with, and I know just because they're a good cause does not mean that I need to give all of my energy to it, because then I leave nothing left for me or for the people who really matter the most. And so part of setting these boundaries can look like, saying, okay, in 20 minutes, I can help you, and I can help you for an hour. At the end of the hour, you need to stop helping and go on to your next project. Okay? Set the boundaries, be clear with them, and stick to them. When you say yes, mean yes when it feels good. And when you say no, I want you to really mean that it is absolutely a no. So there's lots of different things you can do. There's plenty of grounding meditations. You can really get grounded. There are all kinds online. Of course, I have a grounding tree meditation as well. This whole boundaries for empaths, there's a PDF online that you can get for free from my website, that just kind of goes over the tips. And I also do a course that's much, much deeper in this. So you don't have to stop being an empath. It is a gift. It's learning how to use it and how to hold yourself inside of this. So your boundaries is self-trust in action. You don't have to justify your needs. You just need to really go with what fits and what does not leave you so drained and just out of sorts. So you are allowed to be deeply compassionate and powerfully boundaried. If this episode resonated with you, don't wait, because awareness without action is where patterns repeat. You can find me at amandabethhealing.com. I'm on all the social platforms. I just want to thank you so much for being a part of the Chronic Health Collective. Book your free consult with one of our expert coaches at chronichealthcollective.com for personalized support. Subscribe to our monthly magazine for expert tips from all 11 coaches to elevate your health, your mindset, and relationships. Catch us every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central, or watch past episodes on E360 TV or youtube.com/at Chronic Health Collective. Thanks for tuning in. Your transformation starts now. We'll see you next week.